nutshell, what should we bear in mind when we develop a product?
Well, I think the first thing that you should take into account is the market, because you can build a very cool thing that can be used by 5 people on the planet, right? So I would say in this kind of businesses, market research is crucial, because if it's small, then the cost of your product should be big, right? Because you cannot make money if you sell something cheap to small group of people, right?
Yeah.
So like in B2B market, I would say if you have huge clients, which like $1 million clients, one client may bring you $1 million, let's say, you may have like 100 of these clients, and you are, you got a success. But in the B2C market, in this consumer electronics and so on, this is something that you should take into account. That you should have many users, and the price should be reasonably cheap, right? So you have many potential customers. This is first thing, I would say, market research. Second thing, of course, the product. Maybe this product, the product itself, not the course, but the product itself, because this should be, that should solve some problems, right? Because there is a typical mistake of, let's say, startuppers that build a product that nobody wants, right? And you spend a lot of time, you spend a lot of money, and you build amazing product which works and which is amazing. It's beautiful, but nobody buys that because it's kind of, it doesn't solve any problems except for yours, maybe. And this is as a technical guy, I'm really fond of programming. I love solving these technical things. And this is the problem, I mean, that these kind of technical founders face many times, and this is pretty common kind of problem or mistake, maybe, that you focus on your product, but you ignore the market and you ignore your users. And that's why you need to get out of the building, let's say, right, and offer your product, even it's an early stage, right? Because having the early feedback from your potential customers is very crucial, because this can help you to, to pivot. If you have the original idea, but you offer that to some users, they try it, but they say, okay, this is not that I want, but if you do 1, 2, 3, I will use it and I will pay for that, right? And this feedback is very precious, I would say. And yeah, you must not ignore your potential customers. You need to go to the market as early as possible. Otherwise, you can end up with a product that nobody wants, right? And I would recommend. I'm sorry.
What helped you to analyze market?
Well,
how many people did you interview to understand now we're ready?
Yeah. First, you just try to Google, for instance. You have a problem, right? And you need to, put you in someone's shoes. Like if you want, like for instance, if you have a problem, you need to understand how would this potential user would solve this problem with existing ways, right? And you just Google, you see the list of companies, competitors. You actually can analyze what they are offering, and you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Actually, you can have some competitors' products, right? And you can get something from one, the other thing from another. Then you can have your own ideas. You can iterate over something existing, right? Because if there are companies on this market, this is very good, because there is a market, right? Because if these companies exist, that means that they make some money. That means that they have users paying them this money, right? And yeah, I would say you need to just try to be as your user, and just to see how existing users are solving this product, right? Their problem. Yeah, and then you can try to interview, like you can launch a landing page with no product. You can just get some contacts and can interview people, You can just add the users to the waiting list. So at least you can understand how many users are really interested in that. You can interview someone, and you can test how much is the this user, right? You can understand what are the marketing costs could be, and depending on that, you can understand your pricing strategy, depending on the cost of the paying user and the existing competitors. So it's kind of obvious, but many people ignore this.
Forget about it.
Yeah, but because it's very easy to be trapped into the development of something, and you just ignore people. You develop, you spend time and money, but you spend that, you go to the market in a year and a half a year, and then you understand that you've built that nobody wants, right? And this is very sad. So that's why you must get feedback as early as possible, and this is what I would advise some founders like who's launching their business. So
how many people is it worth interviewing?
I would say more than 100.
More than 100 to get the proper data.
Yeah, and actually we are constantly getting this feedback, right? Because we're adding new features, we're having new types of users who just want to know what are they interested in, how we can improve, and so on. So it's a constant process because you iterate, and this helped us to improve interfaces, for instance, add some features or remove some unused features. And yeah, actually, this is a constant process. Yeah.
What are the ways to collect this feedback? How do you usually do it?
Well, we have feedback forums, we have calls with users, we have some bug bounty, let's say, program. For instance, we pay someone if you find bugs. We actually offer bracelets for free if you use it, and for instance, you're a professional user, like a community. For instance, we have this is a part of advertising.
For the feedback, I can receive free watch. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. If you, for instance, we have a group of like semi-professional people, and yeah, they really use wearables a lot, so they can help us to understand what's missing in our product, what is not so important for them. Yeah, so kind of that.
Is it worth developing a product based on the inner feeling or data?
Well,
on the feeling of your gut.
Yeah, gut feeling is important thing, but more important, I would say, the market and the feedback, because your gut feeling may be good only just for one person, for yourself, right? You may be developing the product for yourself, not for the users, right? So of course, when you are in the industry, you can see from the inside, right? It's very important to have a helicopter view from the outside, from different users, who are not who don't have this who are not really the connoisseurs and experts in that field, but they have the fresh point of view on the thing that you are working on.
In our next video, Andy will explain which sales methodology is best.